Gentlemen,
Everybody's going to say, gee.
I'd like to call this meeting to order. You all rise for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will you join me in prayer, please? Supreme Architect of the universe, we invoke thy blessing at this time. May this meeting thus be conducted in peace, conducted in harmony. It's in your name we most humbly pray. Amen. That one for you, Judge. All right. Welcome, everyone, to the public business meeting on December the 11th, 2014 for the Allegheny County Commissioners. Commissioners, are there any additions or deletions to our agenda?
No, sir.
All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our November 13th, 2014 public business meeting. Is there a said motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Under the report of the President, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Merry Christmas to everyone. And I just wanted to say to my fellow commissioners and staff, as well as every county employee, it has been a true blessing to be at the helm of such a fine organization. 4 years ago, this board was charged with the task of making some very, very tough, difficult decisions. And as I go on to becoming the delegate for 1C, the state of Maryland is also at a time where we have some tough, difficult decisions to be made. There's a shortfall of $300 million in 2015. What was projected as in 2016 a $350 million is now a $650 million. And so therefore, there are going to be some tough challenges. And I'm a firm believer that the Lord puts people in the right places at the right time. And gentlemen, we were placed in county government at the right place at the right time for His will. And I do believe that the Lord is sending me to Annapolis at the time when it's needed. But that being the case, I am forever indebted to you for your all's friendship. I'm indebted to you for the ability that we were able to, we all have our weaknesses, but we all have our strengths. And I think the three of us really, really work together as a team, understanding that each of our roles, and I appreciate you allowing me to be the eye candy. So thank you, gentlemen. Okay, moving right into the public hearing portion of our agenda. Item number 1, Mr. Nedved.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
What say you, sir?
Commissioners, although we have meetings for these various projects in the resident, near the residents where the residents live, we are required for CDBG funding to hold public hearings during the commissioners' public meetings. And that's what we're having right now. We are having a public hearing for the following projects: the Savage Pumping Station generator, the Frostburg Water Treatment Plant generator, the Housing Buyout Program in the floodplains, the Bowling Green Water Project, the Moss Avenue Water Project, the Rawlings Water Project, and the Mount Savage Water and Sewer Projects. Basically, we're having a public hearing to discuss, to take any questions or concerns that the public might have on these projects and to discuss the progress of them if need be. But a week ago, we did post a background on the progress of all these projects on the county website, and we also put an advertisement in Saturday's Cumberland Times News advertising that this public hearing would be held. I also have representatives here from Frostburg for their 2 projects. And at this time, I'm asking if anyone would like to has any concerns or questions about these projects. Okay. That's it, Commissioner. That's all I needed to do for that.
Certainly. Thank you very much, sir. All right, Commissioners, we're going to roll right into our action agenda. Item number 2, gentlemen. David's up again. Lease agreement for the automobile racing at the dirt track at Allegany County Fairgrounds.
Thank you, Commissioners. This was mentioned, this was discussed at your October 23rd meeting, public meeting, and what I'm asking you to do at this point, what we're asking you to do at this point is just authorize the signing of the lease agreement with the Craig Nippenberg for racing at the fairgrounds. This lease agreement will be for 7 Saturday races through April through October of next year. The rental fee to be paid for each race to the county will be $850 for each race day. The race cars will have mufflers and will be inspected. And Mr. Nippenberg, this is a very exciting opportunity for Allegany County, and Mr. Nippenberg is looking for volunteers. Please reach out to him and contact him if you are interested in helping with this new era in Allegany County.
Okay. Commissioners, any thoughts, concerns?
Well, Bill, I think you ought to speak on this because I know how proud you are of this. So.
Well, I think the real beauty of what Mr. Nippenberg wants to do is each night of racing will be dedicated to a different charity. So this will be a non-profit operation with local charities making money every night whenever the race date's there. So I think it's a very unique idea and a unique opportunity for our local charities. Long history of auto racing out at the Cumberland Fairgrounds. I did research. I found mufflers that will be required on the cars that will be inspected. These mufflers are used in many different sanctioning bodies because residential areas have grown up around all kinds of racetracks. These mufflers will cut the noise level down to 90 decibels at 100 feet. And so 100 feet doesn't even get you off the fairground. So the farther away you go, the quieter it is. So I think it's a win-win situation.
Okay, thank you. Also, I'd like to thank Steve Nelson for being involved in the conversation. He's a resident that's out there who has enjoyed the wonders of the fairground, but there's also concerns when you have big events, and he weighed in, so I wanted to thank him for participating in that. Okay, Commissioners, I'd like to entertain a motion, and we accept item number 2, lease agreement for automobile racing at the dirt track at the Allegany County Fairgrounds. Is there a said motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Stay right there, Mr. Nedved. Item number 3.
Item number 3,
The
Commissioners.
Nedved Show.
For 3 items. We were approved for additional funding for the Moss Avenue Water Project to the tune of $150,000 from the Appalachian Regional Commission. And the Department of Housing and Community Development will be overseeing the funding. They'll be the basic agency. So we have to amend their grant agreement to cover the $150,000 in additional funds that is being provided for this project. Between the $150,000 that ARC is providing and the $170,000 that CDBG is providing, we do not expect the users of the system to have to pay $1 towards this project. And at this point, I'm just asking for authorization to sign the amendment to the grant agreement, which allows the $150,000 to be added and overseen by the Department of Housing and Community Development's grant agreement.
Okay, Commissioners, I will make that said motion. Is there a second?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioner McKay. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Item number 4, Commissioners, Code Home Rule Bill 2-14, Solar Energy Systems. Mr. Dorsey.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As you recall, at your last meeting, November 13th, we had a hearing on that set of regulations for solar energy systems, and I'd like to request a vote on that.
Gentlemen, I do believe that it's time for us to approve Code Home Rule Bill 2-14, Solar Energy Systems. I'll make that in the form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. Dorsey, what is item number 5, please?
Well, recently, the Rural Legacy Program out of a Department of Natural Resources and the owner of a property, it's 357 acres, behind the businesses along National Highway, have come to an agreement on a sale price for the development rights for the property. That the Rural Legacy Program would pay for the easement, but the easement would be in the name of the county commissioners. And we need the county's blessing for that sales agreement.
And I am correct that the property owner still pays property taxes? And
I believe so.
yes, he does.
Oh, yes.
So, okay. Okay. Gentlemen, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the State of Maryland Rural Legacy Program purchase of easement pertaining to the property in Election District 29. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. We'll take a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Nay.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion pass.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item number 6, Resolution 14-29.
Excuse me.
Mr. Carney, good to see you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening we are requesting that you approve a resolution certifying a total of 49 companies in 3 enterprise zones in Allegany County. And one of those enterprise zones is in Frostburg, and Elizabeth is here that could comment if you have any questions about that particular one. This certification rewards companies that have either made an investment or have hired additional employees. And the form of that reward is discounts on the increased portion of the real property tax bill or discount on their income tax. And basically that's the program, and thank you for considering this request this evening.
Okay. Gentlemen, you've heard from Mr. Carney on the Resolution 14-29, the Enterprise Zone Recertification. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Just as other people here this evening took an opportunity to comment, I want to thank my favorite dry cleaner and my favorite commissioner, and most recently, my favorite Santa Claus.
Hey, there you go.
For his correct, for his support during the last term, and good luck in Annapolis.
Thank you very much, sir.
You realize, Creed, he said he was his favorite, but he's got to work with us.
You guys have always heard Mom always loved you.
Tim, we've enjoyed having you in the building, Tim.
Been nice knowing you.
Thank God I have for 34 years.
Tim, you come down and see me in Annapolis. We'll take care of that, sir. Item number 7, Mr. Kale, what do we have here?
Commissioner Brody, Commissioner Valentine are my 2/3 commissioners. So,
Well spoken.
Wise man.
I don't know, Paul. I can't get a second for what I want to do, but no.
what I'm asking for, the agenda every year we meet with, I'll go to the next slide, we meet with, we're in trouble. Got it. This is our schedule.
Bells
Every year
will be
for our water and sewer,
ringing.
we've been meeting with, look at the bottom, USDA Rural Development, Maryland Department of Environment, and Maryland Housing and Urban Development. What this is it sets the the agenda for what water and sewer projects we're to pursue in the county. The applications for Maryland Department of Environment are due the end of January, so we kind of get the Commissioner's blessing. We meet with the funding agencies and go through what potential funding is there, and then we pursue that funding and move forward with the projects. We've afforded the opportunity to the towns that can get funding from Maryland Department of Environment and USDA, and we have in the afternoon, we give them the opportunity to come in and talk about their projects. There's a proposed schedule this time. I have not heard back from Cumberland whether they're going to want to show up or not, so hopefully they will. If they don't, we'll be done early. Completed what we do real quick through the agenda. These are completed projects. Rawlings Water Phase 2 and Mount Savage Water Distribution and Jennings Run, which is a $10 million project. They're complete, and we just we want to go talk about our successes at this meeting. The underway projects, these are projects, there's significant activity. Either we're in the construction phase or we're in the design phase. Rawlings, we're in the construction phase. The Fairgrounds Transmission Main, which we talked about earlier, we're in the construction phase. Bowling Green Water Improvements, the funding's in place, and we're in the design phase. Creek Road, we are in the preliminary phase. We're doing some preliminary design right now. We need to get some additional funding to make that project happen. Barrelville area, right now what we're doing is we're taking a vote. It's a little bit controversial because some people are calling me and screaming at us because we're coming down there to provide water or talk about water. And other people are calling us and saying we have terrible water, we need your help. And what we talked about in water projects before, we say to the community, if you want our help, the majority of people want our help, we'll help. If the majority of people don't want our help, we won't help. So that's kind of where we're at. That vote will be taken, and the ballots are due January 2nd, and we'll publicly open them January 5th. So we're sending ballots out to everybody in the affected community, so everybody has the opportunity to vote. So I don't know how we could be more fair on that. We've broken into 3 different areas. So hopefully that will either, if they want us, we'll move forward.
And I believe if they don't return the ballot, that's seen as a no vote.
That's correct. That's correct. What we talked to the election board, based on the Barrelville situation, based on the number of people who attended the meetings, it was a low percentage of the public. We wanted the opportunity so everybody would have the chance to vote if they wanted to. And again, a ballot not returned is counted as a no. When we extended to the 20 houses beyond Mount Savage, which I'll talk about in here, we had additional funding. Of those 20 houses, I think 18 of them or 17 of them wanted water, and probably approximately 10 of those I've never seen any of the meetings. So they did want water, but they chose not to come to public meetings. So that's why we're trying to be fair as we can. Planned water projects, these are projects that the area has expressed interest in. There's no funding in place. We're currently not designing, but what they are is planned water projects are the ones that we may apply for funding for if that area moves forward. Bedford Road, we did a study. Bowling Green Water Improvements, we hope to get funding from HUD next year to do a second phase. Potomac River Water Plant, we've talked about that, and it's on our radar screen. We did some preliminary studies back 2-3 years ago. It's still in our potential, it's a potential future project. Mason Road, Patmar Drive, and Pond Circle all only affect probably 10 to 15 people, residents in each area. They have sent petition to us from all 3 districts saying, would you guys look at pursuing funding for a project? So actually Mason Road and Patmar Drive, we'll invite them to a meeting January 8th at Bedford Road just to get their opinion, give them the facts of what that would mean if we move forward, and then we'll know when we go to PACE whether these people want to pursue a project. Sunnyside area will be one of the areas that we're going to take a vote in. So if the Sunnyside people, majority of the people want water, we'll pursue funding. If the majority of people don't want water, we won't pursue funding. So future water projects, these are just ones that are on the radar screen. We know there's an issue. We know there's a problem. There's no funding available, and there's not a significant movement at this time from that community. Vail Summit, Flintstone, Midlothian, Harwood, and Baltimore Pike. We actually took votes at Harwood probably, Commissioner Brody, you may remember because you're in that area. I think it was 5 years ago. We kind of took a vote. And at that time, the community did not want to move forward with that project. So
I'm kind of in a low rent district of that area. So.
Well, when I say Harwood, we did the Slabtown area too. And
Paul, did you get a copy of the recent petition from Midlothian?
I did not.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we very recently received a petition from them. So. Okay.
That would be another one we'll have to, and that, based on that, we may move that up to a planned project. Years ago, Midlothian had the opportunity to hook onto the system we did Carlos Shaft. At that time, they chose to build their own system. So that was, boy, that was probably 15 years ago. Completed sewer projects, real quick, Mount Savage Water Distribution, that was on there before in Jennings Run. They're together because we got the funding to do both water and sewer while we're there. We didn't want to dig up the roads twice, so we combined those projects as a water sewer project. Highland Estates is finishing up, will be completed this month. And Braddock Run Sanitary District, Grahamtown, Eckert, and Consol, this was a collection system. Those projects, we're kind of finishing up those right now too. Underway projects, Braddock Run, that project is underway, and actually it's MDE's reviewing it. That project will start construction in the spring and maybe even this winter if it's a light winter. Wrights Crossing Pump Station, we have funding in place for it, and we're currently under design on that project. Bedford Road Sanitary District Rehabilitation, we have sent the plan and specs to MDE. That will start in the spring. And our consent orders required us to do a capacity management operation and maintenance report for the whole county sewer operations, and we have completed that report, and we'll be submitting that to MDE soon. Basically, it's an asset management. It tells what all of our facilities are, what the problems are, where the pump stations are, et cetera. It's really a good document. Dan DeWitt put it together for us and did a great job. Planned projects, Jennings Run, Wills Creek. Again, we don't have funding in place for this, but we know we're going to have to be faced with upgrading that pump station in the next 5 years. North Branch Wastewater Treatment Plant Clarifier, we applied for funding for that a couple years ago and got turned down. We need to replace that clarifier at some point. Rawlings is a system that it's ran by the Homeowners Association. They've approached us some time ago. They would like us to pursue a project. That probably will be one of our main topics down there. USDA really wants us to move forward on that one. Huge project, probably $5 to $6 million. Beers Lane, we're hoping if Rawlings moves forward, we'll combine the Beers Lane and Rawlings project into some kind of how we're going to treat those. And there's a number of options, and we'll discuss those at pace. Future projects, we're under consent order in the Braddock Run, Bedford Road, and Jennings Run, Wills Creek districts. We know we're going to have future projects there. We keep them on the radar screen to know that we're going to try to pursue funding in the future. Locust Grove Wastewater Treatment Plant, that's kind of in a talk stage whether we'll move forward with that project or not. It's, we have a number of variables going on that, and so it's just kind of a discussion item. Borden's and Slabtown, that area does not have water and sewer, and at some point we're going to have to try to address that issue. And then Vale Summit also does not have sewer at this time. It's another area that potentially needs funding. And that's it. Any questions? Or?
Paul, what do you say we average a year at pace? Commissioner Valentine, myself, has not missed a meeting in 4 years, and quite frankly, that's one thing I look forward to all year because water and sewer is what I do. So what do you think that we normally average as a county as a whole that we get out of pace every year?
I would guess for the last couple of years, it's probably been approaching $10 million.
And seeing the projects we've done, especially on the sewer side, has been significant. I deal with it every day, and I see what the I&I between Allegany County and the city of Frostburg is taking out of the sewer line that comes through LaVale is very significant. It used to be when the skies clouded up, we had a sewer problem in the form of a CSO. Now it takes almost a significant rain event to bring us to that stage, and all that, most of that money is all came from what you get down at pace. So with that being said, I need a favor. If you would, I would like for you to send an email to Mr. DeFonso tomorrow, and please ask them to participate in this, because I would like to see the city of Cumberland residents be able to have the same opportunities for funding that we are, so that it's not charged back to them. If this money is available, I would like to see everybody in Allegany County take advantage of this and use it towards some form of project. So if you would, sir, if you don't reply, that's you can't make him reply. But
I'll call him.
If you would, please offer him an additional invitation.
Okay. And your comment stirred two thoughts in my head. One, that funding we're getting has been ranging about 87.5% grant funding, which means we don't have to pay that back. So it's I mean, not only getting money, we're getting a lot of grant money, very small loans. And also, you mentioned an important fact. When we first started this years ago, the commissioners did not attend. There's no fault of the commissioners years ago. Commissioners didn't attend, so a lot of times when they would ask us a question that was policy, we don't make policy. Now you guys are present at the meeting, so it really helps out when the funding agencies ask a specific question how the county wants to move forward. We're there to discuss that and see what the feelings are, and you see the details of what goes on down there. And so,
yeah, and it's very, very significant. It affects every taxpayer in Allegany County what happens down there at Pace. So. I'm more than pleased. Bill, do you have some comments on that?
They're good meetings, and a lot of people think PACE is nothing but the Thursday night reception, but I think they see there we start our meetings at 9 o'clock in the morning, go to 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, so it takes away from a little bit of the party time.
It's one of the few opportunities we have to have all funding agencies at the room at the same time, too, plus us, and
Yeah.
you can't beat it.
I hate to keep going on and on about it, but, the town of Mount Savage and Rawlings can really contest to this. I mean, they've done spectacular in the last 3 years, 4 years, actually. So,
And I've said it before, nothing gives me greater pleasure than to serve water to a community that wants our help.
Right.
And so it's been good.
I think that two things. A, the meetings that you hold down there, Paul, are a showcase. Allegheny County gets a gold star in what happens with all those other funding partners to get them all in the same room, to get all the town and municipalities together. And of course, we don't want to shout that too large, or too loud, I should say, because we don't want other counties to be doing the same thing, because we do get a lion's share of money from these funding partners. And then as a resident of the city of Cumberland and obviously therefore taxpayer of the city of Cumberland, I would look at those opportunities, and please do reach out to the city. So it's important for them to be there at the table. So, okay.
Good deal.
All right, gentlemen. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the Department of Public Works agenda for the pre-PACE County Water and Sewer meetings with state and federal officials. Is there a said motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
second.
It has been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, Paul, what do we have?
Back 3 years ago, we did a water purchase agreement with the city of Frostburg to serve the community of Mount Savage. We drew on there a map that gave our service area. What it is, we're asking for an amendment to that water purchase agreement, and it does two things. One, it extends the service area to serve the 20 additional houses beyond the original service area. And the other thing it does, it delays a prepayment. What happens is the condition of the Mount Savage water system was that they would pay $750 per connection as a payment to help with that mortgage that they've expanded up the treatment plant and the transmission. And if you recall, maybe a month or two ago, we reduced that surcharge, the city reduced that surcharge to us because we've been able to expand the system to benefit the city of Frostburg customers and ours. So what that does, that amendment, we can serve 20 more houses, and it allows us to delay that payment until next November. And I've talked to USDA, and they'll help us, they'll provide funding for that $750 at that time. They don't have it now. So I'm asking for that to extend the service area and to delay the prepayment until November 1st of 2015.
Okay. Gentlemen, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amendment of the water purchase agreement for Mount Savage Water Distribution System with the city of Frostburg. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9. Kathleen,
She's not going to be here because,
she's not going to be here.
well, her name really didn't need to be on there. She presented this petition, and the hearing was held several weeks ago. There was no opposition at the hearing. Staff has reviewed the petition. We recommend that it be approved. This is the opening for the ultimate closing.
Oh, okay. Gentlemen, I'd like to move. Any questions, concerns? No? Okay. Go ahead and move that we approve item number 9, the road opening petition of RJMSKM LLC for the opening of the intent to close a portion of Race Street in LaVale, Plat 156, Electric Mill Edition in Election District 29. Is there a second?
Is there any more information for that? That's kind of...
I'll second it before you add anything to it.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine, sarcastically. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eberly, a month ago I sent you an email telling you that the last meeting that I would be presiding officially over, I asked you to challenge you to be able to present our consent agenda in song. Are you
Request denied.
prepared to present our consent agenda in various show tunes that have perused either Broadway or off-Broadway?
Oh, my gosh.
No, I'm not prepared for that, Commissioner.
In all due respect,
Go to Annapolis, please.
I think the term lame duck.
do, hey, you could have sung the consent agenda.
I could have. I appreciate the offer,
as
though.
Disco Duck.
I could have done that.
You're not going to do that?
I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
No,
All right. All right.
But
What then do you have on your consent agenda, sir?
Commissioners, this afternoon, we have 5 items on your consent agenda, items 10 through 14. Item 10 relates to our annual salvage yard license renewals. That would have been really interesting if we would have sung all the names, but anyway. Item 11 relates to the approval of our TAC program signing initiative in partnership with the state of Maryland. Commissioners, this was a program presented to you at your November the 13th meeting. We have Resolution 14-30, which is a revision to our county rules and regs. Thank you, Brian Westfall, for your annual kitchen sink motion. We need to beef up our language related to ADA compliance, and we are making a small minor change to the grade allocation table. Item 13 is the authorization to accept the 2014 ESG grant to support both HRDC and FCRC. And last but not least, a travel request for Jason Bennett to attend the GFOA conference in Philadelphia next year.
Okay, and gentlemen, you've heard our consent agenda. Is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
It's been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Eberly, what is on your desk, please?
Commissioners, 2 things. Real quick, up until just a few moments ago, we had 2 members in our audience here who are matriculating through the Leadership Allegany class. Rob Ketterman just left with Elizabeth, and we see Alicia in the back. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And item number 2, I got a phone call from Creed Brody on November the 5th. We were talking about what had transpired the day before in an election here in Allegany County and in a portion of Washington County. And Creed made the observation. He says, "You know, Dave, you're going to miss Mike McKay."
You know what?
He said,
no doubt about
okay.
that.
Oh, I know, and I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. But it's a good feeling to know that you're not going to be far away.
No, just being sent on assignment by you guys.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. I understand that the county attorney has a slideshow that he's prepared for us this evening. Something about past vacations and...
Yours or mine?
We won't go there. Mr. Rudd, anything on your desk, sir?
I have nothing further, but I will add a few personal comments with your permission. You know, when we got a clean sweep last time, you never know what you're going to get. So we had a little bit of trepidation about that. It's turned out to be very good. It's been a great 4 years. You've been in large part of that in more ways than one. And we have appreciated working and enjoyed working with all of you. And I'm sure we'll continue to have our contacts as you go to Annapolis. And you're a tough act to follow. It'll be interesting. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate that, sir. Commissioners, anything on your desks?
Go for it, Creed.
Yeah, I do. First thing, just a little bit of a public announcement here. Since the weather's changing and our snowplow drivers is out and both cities' drivers is out and the inclement weather's coming, please, everyone, be a little bit patient with them. You know, it is Western Maryland. The minute snow falls doesn't mean it needs plowed or salted that instant. Have just a little bit of patience. The last little snow we got up where I'm at, about 10 or 11 inches, you'd have thought it was kind of the end of the world, and I thought it's not the first time it snowed here. So everyone have a little patience for that, and it is the time of season that utility companies have significant problems with pipes, what breaks and busts. A little courtesy there will go a long way also. You know, for someone that actually works in that field and is experienced several major breaks in the last couple of days and was rather shocked at the way some of the people actually come out and talk. Keep in mind, utility people don't want to be out there either. They don't want to be working, and no company makes money when water's squirting out there, because people pay their bills, such as I've been told, so they want their water back on. You can't get it back on when it's shooting up in the middle of the road, and it does no good to stand there and cuss the people that are trying to fix it. So that really bothers me, and I experienced that myself here quite a bit lately. Another thing is with the Barrelville water, and I hope that there's some residents that will pay attention to what I'm saying. Read the letter. If you got any questions prior to anything, please call Paul Kale. And if you can't get a hold of Paul, call me or stop and see me, because right now there's so many different stories out there. There's tactics being told to people that's not true, and I'm trying to set the record straight. I've been dealing with a lot of that the last couple of days. So please, if you have any questions, go to the people that know. And thirdly, and most importantly, sir, 4 years ago I sat up here and I didn't, like everyone else did, know what I was getting, because other than just seeing his faces, I really didn't know you well. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Commissioner Valentine.
A few quick things. After sitting up here for 3.5 years reporting on our Marcellus Shale Safe Drilling Initiative meetings, they have finally come to a close. No more 6-hour meetings talking about how many dust particles a truck's going to put in the air. And now it sort of looks like that 3.5 years was basically for nothing, because our new governor says we're going to drill. So it's been interesting, and it will be interesting. Secondly, I was honored to take part in the Leadership Allegany event yesterday. It was a fantastic class, as it always is. People that have never been through that program have no idea just how valuable it is. And I would suggest that program to anybody. And then today, Dave and I had a chance to spend some time with State Comptroller Peter Francho. He was up here today, visited the AES power plant, and plus he was going to do some Christmas shopping downtown. It's nice to know that we have somebody in that position that does truly visit Allegany County, not like the statewide bus tour that Mike was taking on that stopped in Frederick as their position farthest west to come. So I see an exciting next 4 years in front of us. I see the county moving forward. And like the others, Mike, it's been a pleasure this past 4 years. Mike and I have actually worked together off and on for probably 10 or 12 years, different areas. And you're on the hook for lunch every Wednesday whenever I'm down for makeup.
It's a good thing that Mako provides lunch.
No, I'll forego their free lunch you can buy.
Okay, all right. Unbelievable. Well, now I know where Peter Francho was, because he was not answering his door when I was in Annapolis this morning knocking on it. So that answers that question. Second of all, it is true I was on the new delegate bus tour Tuesday, Wednesday, and would have been today. Delegate-elect Jason Buckle is holding down the fort for today's, because I needed to come back for this meeting. However, I was trying to find a house. As you all well know, it's my plan to take my family down with me for the 90-day session to experience the whole Annapolis. We are having a hard time finding a house large enough. However, there is a gentleman who won an election who lives in Anne Arundel County who, in all honesty, could commute. And he does get a house that comes with his office. And I have sent an email to Governor-elect Larry Hogan to see if he would allow the McKays to live in the governor's mansion.
And the yard's fenced in.
The yard is fenced in. At one time, there was a trampoline there for Governor Ehrlich. And so I've not heard that. Now, I did send that email via my commissioner's email address, and I have seen that I no longer have a county computer in the office. So it's somewhere, and I'm sure that answer, if you could maybe look that up and see if when I'm supposed to be moving into
I read an email today that just said, ha, 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 ha.
Maybe a wing at Naval Academy down there would be more in order of the size of what you need. Or...
They have weight requirements at the academy and some other things. But in all seriousness, I am proud to announce that the Rural Maryland Counties Coalition has elected Doug Howard to be the chairman. He is from Carroll County. And he is one of the original 4 commissioners who were commissioner presidents that met in Ocean City at the Bayside Skillet, a wonderful place for crepes and orange juice.
Is there a promotional fee?
And last but not least, we have a student from Calvary Christian Academy in the audience, Mr. McBride. We appreciate you being here today and bringing the old guy with you. So, all right. Okay, commissioners, thank you. Constituents, it looks like we have one person that has signed up. Mr. Goberl.
Water on your frivolity, but I've got a serious situation, Mount Savage.
Certainly, if you give your name and address for the record.
Charles Goebel, Mount Savage, 157 Upper Bank Street, Post Office Box 433. I was here in June. Thank you, County Commissioners, even though I understand we're going to get a replacement, I guess, next month, Mr. Shade. By the way, gentlemen, I voted for all you three, you two, and Mr. Shade, so I want to let you know how I feel. I expect to get results. We got a problem up in Mount Savage, and it's not a neighbor problem. It's a problem with a dog, and I didn't know in June when I was here that actually that's now under animal control, and you people are at arm's length from it. Is that not correct?
That is
Right?
correct, sir.
Okay, well, the problem with that is animal control. I made 2 trips out there in the recent past, and I can tell you they are inundated with animals, and that's basically all they can handle. I mean, they can't go out and do things that maybe we used to have a dog catcher do. But why I'm here is the fact that we've got an animal that bit my brother and attacked a widow's dog, cost her $200 and some, attacked his dog on October 29th, cost him close to $300. And obviously, I spoke to animal control, and he told me very graciously, he being Mr. Carl Brubaker, I guess I can mention his name, he said, well, if the county had laws like Frostburg and Cumberland, they could do something. And I thought, no, isn't that strange? Why would Frostburg and Cumberland have more strict laws than the citizens of Allegany County? Can someone answer that?
I'll look and give you a...
Well, first of all, it's a county dog law. It's not Cumberland's, it's not Frostburg's, it's the Allegheny County Animal Control Law. So the law is the same. So whatever that
How come this is the same as what John Kirby gave me is the same?
should
Well,
be.
how come Mr. Carl Brubaker told me it wasn't?
I can't speak for Mr. Brubaker. He doesn't work
Okay.
for us. okay?
Well, all I can say is he's not doing anything
Well-
because the fact is, well, then what is a person to do? That's my next question. What is a person to do? Because I'm not doing this for us. I'm doing it for the town of Mount Savage because in the case with him, his dog being attacked was right next to the community park, which you people own. And so obviously you should have some interest in not having a dog that might bite somebody else's dog or some child. Help me out a little bit, folks.
I believe the sheriff did an investigation on that.
Yeah, and I want to talk to you on that. Because I'll just say this at this point, and then I will discuss. I won't discuss names. When they come up to do the investigation, consisted of an animal control officer and a deputy sheriff. And anyway, by the way, he was walking down the road from the house, and this dog attacked him. This guy let his dog loose and come over attacked him. And of course, he just says, "No, that's not the case. Your dog attacked mine." Blah 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 blah. I happened to be there right what was happening, so I know differently. But anyway, the sheriff came, and I saw him walk over and talk to two young boys, and I thought, why is he talking to them? And then I realized he had no interest in having us tell our story. He had already talked to the person that let the dog loose, that attacked his dog, and he had already made up his mind. And so I got in his face. I'm sorry, folks, I got in his face. I pay taxes. I got one of the nicest houses in Mount Savage, and I paid $1,200-1,300 in taxes. That's not a lot for Mount for your place, but it is for Mount Savage. But anyway, I said, you know, you're not doing an investigation. Well, he and I had words. So I found out later that this gentleman told the kids what happened after that. And so then he went over to ask this one boy, and he said, "Oh, yeah, we saw it." And I thought, that's not possible, because I live right up from it. I looked out the window. I saw the fight happening. There was nobody in the park. I come running down. It took me 30 seconds to get from my upstairs window to grab a stick and go out the door. And I was down between my brother and this guy. And so anyway, I thought, that's not possible. These kids weren't here. So I went over and said to the lad, I said, where did it happen? He couldn't tell me. He couldn't tell me where it happened. So I knew that he didn't see it. And anyway, after a further investigation, this guy wrote it up and said that they saw everything and the kids are going to testify. And so this guy has taken a suit against us and accusing my brother of unorthodox things. He's 67. He can't hardly walk, and he was supposed to jump on this guy and kick him in the head and all that stuff. I know you're going to say, well, it's not the animal, it's the owner, and that's true. But in any case, I had, thanks to Mr. Valentine, and truly he helped me a lot. He apparently got a hold of the sheriff, and the sheriff wasn't going to reinvestigate it. But after I talked to Mr. Valentine, he said, yes, I'll go ahead and do it. So anyway, he went back out, the deputy did, and reinvestigated. The only thing he asked was, did they see it? And they said, no, we didn't see it. And I knew they didn't. They were 427 feet over in the tennis courts playing soccer. They can't even see where this happened. So what does that mean? That means I'm going to be talking to you after the meeting to go over this report from this deputy, and I need to get with the sheriff. I've called him 3 times. He never returned my calls. Now, I know he's an elected official, but you people fund him, and you ought to at least be able to
wait a minute. Time out. There is a demarcation between the sheriff of Allegany County and Allegany County. Do not think that just because the funding comes from Allegany County commissioners, that this board or any future board should have any stick held against the sheriff. He is an independent elected official.
I'm just asking a meeting.
No, I understand what you're saying, sir, but you just said you guys fund him.
That's true.
And any recommendation from me to any future board will not be, do not go down the road of telling the sheriff what he will or will not do because of funding.
I'm not asking you to tell him what, Mr. McKay, I'm not asking you to tell him what he will or will not do. I'm just telling you to read the report and question us and let us tell the story as much as he let the other person. He did not question us, Mr. McKay. That's my comment.
Okay.
I'm not, Mr. Sheriff Robinson basically did his job. He actually, I think because of friendship, he went out and had it reinvestigated. It come back, but the person did not do the investigation like it should have been done. Now, this thing's going to go to court, and I don't have any problem with that because we're right and he's wrong. But I do have to be concerned about the people in town. The dog that bit this woman's dog, she lives right down from me. She'll not allow her dog in the yard because he's got an electronic fence because this man leaves the dog loose yet. He did this week, was in his neighbor's yard, according to his neighbor. So my question, I'm not here to get anybody. I'm just trying to get this thing settled because someone's going to get hurt. Next Tuesday, I'll be at the Light Committee. I happen to spend 12 years on that Light Committee, by the way. And they know me, and I know all these people, and I'm concerned about the residents of Mount Savage. That's all I'm here for. I don't want this woman's dog getting bit again. I don't want somebody else's dog getting bit or some kid or child getting bit. Is that wrong?
No, that is not wrong by any
And
stretch.
so anyway, I'm going before the lighting committee. I'm going to give them, because of the park is part of the, and this individual has since been in the park with this dog. And it's not the dog, it's the owner, but there's nothing we can do about that.
Did the lady whose dog get bit, did she file a formal complaint?
No, she did not, but I've got a letter from her and the vet bill. And she tells who did it and how it happened. If you got a minute, I'll tell you what happened. I can't believe what happened. When I was here in June.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Goldman. Mr. Valentine will talk to you afterwards.
Very good.
And good luck, and I appreciate you being concerned about the residents of Mount Savage.
Believe me, it's the residents I'm concerned about.
Okay.
And you would be too, I would assume. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, sir. Wonderful. Okay, I'd like to remind everyone that our upcoming, first of all, upcoming meetings, the delegation meeting, legislative priorities, that will be Thursday, December the 18th, 2014, at 3 o'clock right here in room 100. And then the public swearing-in ceremony. It says business meeting, but the only business to be conducted that day will be the swearing-in, correct?
Actually, we have the annual financial report. Mr. Hoover will be here and need the microphone for about 3 minutes. Sorry.
Okay.
Can't help it, sir.
All right, looks like we have one thing on the agenda.
Me wait.
All right. That will be Thursday, December the 18th, right here at room 100 at 5 o'clock. I'd like to thank everyone for participating in your government, and you have a nice evening. Thank you, sir.
Best of luck to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.